Okay, slope of a line. Can somebody tell me what a slope of a line is? Yes. Yes, it's how the line. Yeah. Did you rise over run? Yeah. Okay. Good. So if you want to explain to someone what a slope of a line is, it tells you how steep the line is, right? And so we have came up with this way of representing how steep the line is using, you said it right, it's rise over run. So slope of a line is really a ratio of rise over run of a line. Okay. So it's really a ratio. We came up with this way of measuring how steep this line is to represent, some lines are really steep, some lines are not, right? So that's what we're using. It's a ratio. It's comparing how much to rise over run of this line is. But I have a question. Doesn't line go forever? Yep. Yeah. So doesn't the line rise forever and run forever? So then how do you calculate a slope? How do you write slope? Because Anais? Right, but then doesn't the line like rise forever and run forever? Because that's what I had the question. Like whenever somebody said, "Oh, slope is rise over run," you're like, "Wait, doesn't the line go forever?" Yeah. Yes, that's the key. The key is to find 2 points. Okay. You find nice 2 points. Okay. And what do I mean by find any? So it could be any two. So I have a bunch of points. Yeah. So write this down. You don't have to copy the graph. I'm going to just show you how it. But when you talk about a slope, people forget to mention that you gotta pick 2 points, okay? And these points has to be nice. What do you think I mean by nice? By the way, look at this point right here. How about, do you think this point right here is nice? Like right here somewhere? No. No. Why not? Why isn't that a nice point to choose? Marilyn?
Because you're not really sure that it could be 1.5.
Right. You don't know the exact order pairs for those 2 lines. You don't know where it is exactly, right? So that's not. But what about these points? Where the 2 points are right on the grid? Are those nice points?
Yes.
Yeah. So those points that we could actually figure out the actual coordinate, right? Like when the coordinates are integers, right? Those are nice points. Do you understand? So let's pick 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2 points. It says any 2. Which one would you like to choose? Yeah. Aaron, which would you like to pick any point? Let's find the slope of this line. And which point would you like to choose? Because it says pick any 2 points. 0, 2. You want?
Is that 1?
Where? Oh yeah.
0, 1?
Yeah, 0, 1. Okay, good. Okay, let's pick this point 0, 1. I'm gonna call it A. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Somebody give me another point. Yeah, Matthew. Oh, you like 2, 2? Sure. Let's pick 2, 2. As a matter of fact, those are the points I choose. Doesn't matter which points I pick. No. So let's find the slope then. It says slope is ratio of rise over run. So in order to go from A to B, what do I need to do? So, yes, Madeline? You guys remember this from last year? We did all this also, right? Madeline? Yeah, I go up from A. I go up how much, class? 1. So when I go up, guess what? Do you think we're going to represent that as positive number or negative number? Positive. What about if I have to go down? Negative. So I got to go up 1, that's positive 1. Okay, somebody else now, tell me. I go up, that's what I do first. Andrew, then what?
Then you go to the right 2.
Then I go right 2, you're right. Then, since I go to the right, it's positive 2. Guess what? If I had to go to the left, then that's negative. So you're right. To go from A to B, your slope is, then can somebody tell me what the slope is then? Yeah. 1 over 2. Would you agree? So I have it right here. Hold on. You're right. So there it is. I go up 1, that's positive 1. To the right 2, that's positive 2. Is it okay if I go from B to A though?
Yeah.
It turns out, it says any 2 points. So who told you that this one has to be A and the other one has to be B, right? It could go from A to B or B to A. The slope better come out to be?
1 over 2.
Yeah, same. Because we're representing this. We're looking at the same line, right? Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter which 2 points or which order you choose. So if I go from B to A, oh, you have an idea? You have a question? Oh, the answer what? That's exactly right. So to go from B to A, you see how I have to go down 1? So that's, what would that be if I have to go down? Negative 1, and to the left 2, so that's negative 2, so you're exactly right. So I get negative 1 over negative 2. which is 1 over 2, which makes sense, right? It has to this number has to represent how steep this line is, right? It doesn't matter which 2 points you choose. It's representing the same line. It has same steepness, if you like. What if I do A to C then? Would it make any difference if I go from A to C? Well, let's go from C to A. How about C to A? If I were to go from C to A, it looks like you have to go a lot further down and a lot further to the left. Would I still get 1 over 2? Yeah, you should, because it's representing, right, how steep exactly this line is. So I have to go down how much to go from C to A? Go down?
-2.
Yeah, -2. But I have to go to the left how much?
4.
So it's what's -2 over -4?
1
1 over 2. Yeah, so it's exactly the same. So no matter which 2 points you choose, okay, its slope is half. Okay, are we good? Good. So if you have a line, if you were to choose any 2 points, we said the slope is right same. What if? Huh? No. Okay. Here's a question. Shirok. Is then a slope of a line same throughout the whole line?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yes, it is.
How many people say yes? Slope of a line is same throughout the whole line. How many people say no? Okay, the answer is yes. In other words, is the slope of a line constant? The answer is yes, it's constant, meaning if you were to look at the slope of a line, no matter where you are on this line, it's always going to be that same slope. Okay? Why? Why is the slope of a line constant? Who could explain? 2 people? Anais?
It's straight. It goes on forever.
Right. The line is. Yeah, line does. Okay, you're exactly right. So I like how you say it's straight. Line is straight. So, well, imagine that you have a line. Like, okay, let's say here. Here's a line. Here's a part of a line. Okay. What's the slope of this line right here? This part of the line, A to B.
1 over 2.
1 over 2. You go up 1 to the right 2, right? So slope.
Yeah, no matter how many times you do that, you're always going to get
Yeah. So I could go 1 over 2 again.
because it's straight.
Right. But imagine, let's say from C to D, all of a sudden the slope changes. I don't know. Yeah, like let's say slope is 2, so you go up 2 to the right 1. Right? Is this what happens?
That's not a line.
Yeah, it's not a line anymore. It's like a curve, sort of, right? Does that make sense? So if it's a line, right, slope must be what class? Slope must be same. It has to be constant, right? If it isn't, then it's going to like curve. It's going to be crooked. It's not a line anymore. You're exactly right. Does that make sense? Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, if you see how it changes, right, from C to D, right here. If it's all of a sudden, if the slope changes, then you don't have a line anymore, right? It's not straight anymore. Good. Okay, so. Do they always give you, or do they always ask you to find the slope with the graph? No. Sometimes they give you.
Formula.
Well, you use a formula. Sometimes they give you 2 points, right, of this line, whatever the line is, and they ask you to find the slope.
Oh, I know.
Do you guys remember this?
Yeah.
So raise your hand. Hold on. So this is all review. That's good. So who remember? So if they give you 2 points, for example, they usually write it this way. How many people have seen this before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they give you obviously they're gonna put some numbers in here, like 1, 2, or 3, 4, something. So if they give it to you this way, you guys remember what the equation of the slope was?
Yes.
Chansu.
X2 minus X1 over Y2.
A lot of people think it's x2.
Y over X.
Is yeah. Okay, hold on. How many people think it's y is on the numerator? Hey, you guys are correct. It is on the numerator. You guys remember this? Yeah. Why do we have the y? Okay, hold on to this one second. So you guys you've seen this before, right? Why is it that we have the y's on the numerator when you're given 2 points, like x sub 1, y sub 1? Yes.
Rise over run.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Like you go up.
Yeah, which coordinate tells you how much to go up and down? Y coordinates. Which coordinate tells you how much to go to the left or right? X coordinate. You guys remember this?
Yep.
Right? Now, how many people have seen this? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1, x sub 2. Good. How many? Okay, so why do they have these subscripts like x sub? What do they mean? X sub 1. Well, I had it up here, right? What do they mean, by the way?
What do you mean?
This 1,
Oh.
these 2. Does it mean to square it?
No.
No, it's on the bottom, so it's not. So what? why do we have these subscripts down here?
Oh.
Who remembers what they mean? How about anybody on this side? It's all like Audrey? Right. So this the subset means it's from the first point or something, right? This 2 means it's from the second point. Does that make sense? We don't want it to mess this up, right? Because otherwise it's going to be wrong, right? If you when you plug into the formula. In other words, x of 1, y sub 1 tells you that, oh, those coordinates are from the first point. X sub 2, y sub 2 are from the other point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
How many people have seen this though? Y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus. Yeah, you don't really see that, but turns out, you don't really do it that way. But turns out, Andrew, it's okay to have it this way. Why? Does anybody know why?
Oh.
Hold on. I want you to think about it as a group. Go ahead. Why is it okay? No, you don't normally do it this way, and we're not going to do it that way, but it's okay to actually do it this way. Think about it why. Who thinks they know why is it okay to write y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2? Anybody? Yes?
Like, cause like, there's a difference at all. All it really is like, what I want to do is like making sure you group the same order pair together, so you don't really have any values, just like different x's and different y's.
Kind of, yeah. So that's good. So if you're gonna use it, listen. If you go from 2, 1, you have to have 2, 1 on the bottom, right? Could I have 1, 2 on the bottom? No. It's the same here. If I do 1, 2, it's got to be 1, 2, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it okay? Yeah.
Oh, it's cause like if you like distribute -1,
That's actually not distribute, but if you were
or,
to,
like, take it, factor out a -1.
yeah, or you can multiply top and bottom of the original formula by -1. What happens? Isn't this the same thing as the other, right? Also, it's really same as doing A to B or going from point B to A. It's really the same thing. Does that make sense? But we use this a lot. This is what we use the most. Does that make sense? Oh, by the way, some of you ask, what letter do we like to use for slope a lot? M, okay? Okay, so if you see the letter M, you know that it means slope. Okay? That's how we use it. Anyway, okay, now let's do this one together. Let's say that I have 2 points like this. Instead of as a graph, let's say that I gave you 2 points. 1, 2, -3, -4. Let's find the slope. Of course, we're going to use the formula. So what's m equal to? Who remember? By the way, before we do this, here's this. This is really easy, but people seem to make silly mistakes. So what I want you to do is I want you to first label these. What should I call this one? X of 1. What about 2? Y sub? The 1 is from the first point. What about -3? X of 2 is from the second point. And this is the y coordinate, so y sub 2. So please label it like this first, so you don't make silly mistakes. Then I would like you to write down the formula and then put parentheses, because that's where you're going to plug it in. Okay? Does that make sense? Because people make silly mistakes when they just try to do it really fast or something. So start with the formula, right? Label it, label it, start with the formula, then plug it in the parentheses, okay? Go ahead, everybody try to see what you get. All right, so how many people plug it in this way? Okay, as I walked around, a lot of you like put the wrong numbers. Please don't do that. Make sure you label them correctly and then plug it in correctly, okay? So what do we get on the numerator, John? All right, so when I subtract, what do I get? What does it become? -6 over -4. Did you all get -6 over -4? Should I leave it that way or always simplify? Okay, so the answer is 3 over 2. Isn't that right? Did you all get 3 over 2? Okay, try one more. Here. Label it and follow the way that I'm asking you to do, so you don't make silly mistakes, okay? So did you all label it like this? Okay. So please label, guys. I cannot tell you how many times people don't label and then they just mess up. Then you use the formula. Did you all use the parentheses like this? Okay, it should have been. You should have all gotten -2 over 3. How many people got -2 over 3? Raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, most of you. If you didn't, do you see a mistake? Okay, ask your group members. They can help you out. Okay. All right. Now they get a little bit creative, and instead of them giving you a graph or 2 points, they give you an equation. What sort of equation is this? Who remembers from last time? Raise your hand. This is called a linear equation. And what sort of form is this written in? Standard form. Very good. Because all the coefficients are, the coefficient and the number at the end is, they're all integers. Now, so how are we going to do this? Anybody have an idea? Yeah.
Turn the slope intercept form and then find out.
Okay, that's one idea. Let's say that we didn't know that. Okay. Okay, so how many points do you need to find the slope? 2. Well, to find the slope, you need 2. Is there a way to find 2 points of this line?
Yeah. Hard.
Yeah. Step 1 is to? Good. Solve for y, and then no. You solve for y, then you make a chart. Remember? So go ahead, everybody, solve for y, and let's make a chart. Because with the chart, we could actually find 2. Well, we could find as many as we want, but we just need 2 points, right? That belongs to this line, don't we? Go ahead, everybody, solve for y. You should have all gotten y equals to 3x minus 7, correct? Right, guys? Do we know how to put it into the chart? What is the value of x that we're going to plug in first, you think, for this chart? Yeah, good. What's the next number? 1. Go ahead, everybody plug in 0 and 1. I think those are the easiest. See what you get. Then you will get 2 points. Okay. Andrew, what did you get for when x equals 0? The y value.
I got for the y value, got -7.
That's correct. So the order pair is 0, -7, right? Savannah, when you plug in x equals to 1, what did you get for your y? -4. Now, do we know how to find the slope of this line now? So since we have 2 points, plug into the, I call it x sub 1 for 0, y sub 1 for -7, x sub 2 for 1, and then y sub 2 for -4. Go ahead, plug into this formula, see what you get. Oops. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, I hear a lot of people. Okay, how many people got the answer? Raise your hand. Did you get the answer, Judy? What did you get? 3. How many people agree? A lot of you? You are correct. It is 3. Well, 3 over 1, yeah, so 3. Okay. 3 over 1 is 3, right? Okay, listen. Now, how many people, a lot of you already noticed this. By the way, is there another way of actually doing this? Cameron, that's what you were going to tell me.
Yeah, when you get into slope intercept.
Yeah, you guys remember slope intercept form?
Y equals mx.
Y equals mx plus b. You guys remember this? What does the m, which is the coefficient of the x, tell you? That's the slope. Didn't we already do that in the very beginning? In step 1, what was our coefficient of the x? In y intercept form was 3. So we sort of knew that already. By the way, what does this number tell you? They say b, but what's that b? That's the, Savannah? Y intercept. What's a y intercept? Yes.
It's the y coordinate.
No, not just y coordinate. It's not a y coordinate. Y intercept is different than just y coordinate. It is a y coordinate, but Darren? That's right. It's where the line crosses the y axis. That's why it's called y intercept. My intercept is right. That's where. Does that make sense? So, knowing this, if I give you this problem, do you think you're gonna do a table, or you think you're gonna just use slope intercept form? Go ahead, everybody try and tell me the slope of this line then, using the slope intercept form. Okay, Harrison, what did you get? That's the slope. Yeah. What's the slope of this line? -3 over 4. How many people agree? Okay, good. Malia, what did you do to get that? Subtract the 3x. Then divide by 4. There you go. So the slope is -3 over 4. And as we mentioned before, that 7. What does that 7 over 4 represent? Raise your hand. That's the. One person knows. 2, 3. What does the 7 over 4 represent? Emily.
On the y-axis,
That's where the line hits the y-axis. Okay. Any question? Yes.
what's that word? Oh wait.
Slope intercept form. Yeah. Does this make sense? So on your homework tonight, you could do a chart to find the slope when they give you a equation of a line. But what's the easier way? Yeah, change it to slope and so forth. What if I ask you this? Find the slope of y equals to 2. This time, there's no x. So how are you going to find the slope, right? How many people think it's 0? Raise your hand. How many people think it's undefined?
Yeah.
See, a lot of times people, like, they get kind of confused. So after today, you will not be confused. Watch this. Here's how we figure out. And for guys, this is how we know for sure what the slope of this line is. First of all, what I want you to do is, we're going to do a little table. This says y is always equal to 2. So what can your x be? Anything you want. Not 0, anything you want. So here's a little table. Right? Would you not agree? This equation says, no matter what your x is, your y is always equal to -2. Question?
So it's a horizontal line?
That's right. If you were to graph it, you get a horizontal line like this. Isn't that right?
You have to draw the points.
No, I'm showing you, like, if you ever get this, you can't just guess whether it's 0 or undefined. So I'm showing you how to figure this out. So step by step, we're going to actually think about. Kobe, we're going to actually figure out how to find the slope. Now, since we have the table, which have 3 points, what can we use to figure out the slope? We can use no, we could use the slope formula. Let's plug it in. Who remembers the slope formula? Yes. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1. That's a subscript. Y sub 1 over sub 1. Exactly. Now, how many points? Which points do you think I should use? There are 3 of them, but
You should use
the easiest one, the 2 of these. Okay, go ahead, plug it in to the formula right here. See what you get. Everybody try. So, guys, did you all get 0 on the numerator? Turns out, guys, whenever you have, so our equation was x equals to y equals to 2, right? Why do you think the slope of this line, when you have a y equals to a number, is always going to be 0? Anybody see why? Chansu? There is no rise. It's exactly right. As you can see from the equation 2, right? Guys, it's rise over run. If your y value is the same, you're going to subtract the same number on the numerator every time, right? So it's going to be 0 over some number. That's why the slope is 0. Also, did you have a question?
If it's x, then it's only the rise.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute. Okay, good. Okay, hold on. But also, remember horizontal? Like, there's a bunch of O's. And if you look at from A to B, is there any rise to go from A to B? Is there a run? Yeah, there's run, because you're going to pick 2 points. But since it's a horizontal line, there is no rise. Therefore, you're going to get 0 over some number. That's why the slope is 0. And also, you could think of it this way. If you have y equals some number, what is your m? That's why the x is not there. Does that make sense? What if I have this then? X equals to -2. Okay, think about this as a group. I would like you to make a chart, though. Do a chart and see if it makes sense. Go ahead, everybody think about it. I would like you to draw a chart and draw the picture. Go ahead. So, if you do a chart, as you can see, x is always equal to -2. And a lot of you have already told me that it's going to be a vertical line, right? Because x is always equal to 2, y could be any value you want. So when you plug into the slope slope formula, your numerator or the denominator will be 0. Which one? Would your numerator be 0 or your denominator be 0? So what's your slope? Undefined is correct. Because every time you have rise over run, your x, look at, to go from A to B, is there any rise? Yes, there is. But is there a run? No. So therefore, it's going to be something over 0. So that's why the slope is undefined. Does that make sense? Any question? Does that make sense?